I'm grateful. Hal Mitakuo, greetings, relatives. Is this too loud? Okay. So, today is a little bit different for me. On July 4th, we had a flood in Kerrville. People died. A bunch of children died. So my first move was to call somebody, an acquaintance. He happened to be the mayor, and ask him, can I help? And my thought was parents and grandparents and family of the little girls that died. So I ended up talking to somebody from Red Cross, and she told me to mail fax my credentials, and she let me know in a week. So fortunately, Spirit helped out through another counselor. There was a call from the fire chief in Mountain Home, Texas, a little town northwest of Kerrville. His water rescue team were the first guys on the water after the flood. So I met with these guys, a team of 6 young men from about 25 up to about 40. And for 29 hours, they hiked 64 miles in full gear. Inflation gear and packs and medical supplies and water and 2 ropes and hatchets and walkie-talkies and radios. And they made a lot of rescues. They had some near rescues. And they told stories about that. And you know, words create pictures in the mind. So thinking about this, I made a conscious decision, I'm not going to share those pictures, because I realized I'm still carrying them. So part of the thing that happened in our group is toward the end of the group, one of the young men said, where was God? I don't know. So he was pretty upset. He was upset with the governor, but he was more upset with God. And somebody would say, well, his faith was shaken. And he said his wife drug him to church on Wednesday evening. And he said, if one more person puts their hand on me with that solemn look and says, they're in a better place now, I don't trust myself. Right now, I want to hurt somebody that says that. And he looked at me and I said, I understand perfectly. I hear you. So what this brings up is after that meeting, watching the news and other things that are going on in our country, I'm aware I'm reacting. What I mean is reacting is I have some judgments about what's going on. And I do understand when my mind is judgmental, it drops my serotonin, it raises my cortisol, my body doesn't like it, my carotid arteries contract. I understand all that. It doesn't make a whole bunch of difference. It's like understanding how to do yoga. That's just not enough. So I'm also aware that when I see some certain politicians, one of the first things that happens is my shadow side, my judge, my self-importance wants to call names. And I understand that name calling is a symptom of a lack of emotional maturity, usually around 4 years old. I really thought I was over that. I'm not over that. I'm aware how easy it is for my mind to slip into judgment, blame, criticism, and the idea that I know what's best. The ancient sorcerers called that self-importance. A lot of us call that ego now. To me, self-importance is a much more useful term. It implies that I think I know what's best. And so I realized after talking with these guys that some stuff was coming up, and I understand what's coming up is sometimes my relationship with the great mystery or God or spirit or whatever you call it is as conditional as my relationship with other two-leggeds. And I really don't like seeing this. I don't like this at all. And of course, that really doesn't matter much. That's what life has brought up. That's what's in my face right now, all the time. That my connection with spirit seems to be conditional. When it goes well, I'm a happy camper. I feel connected. When it doesn't go well and I get into my self-importance, I don't feel connected. And I know that's not me. You know that old bumper sticker, if you don't feel close to God, who do you think moved? And right. Takes a minute, but yeah, you get it. So in my intention to live as a warrior in this medicine way, strives to be impeccable and relentless. And a warrior goes to war with his or her self-indulgences and leaves the world and other people alone. So what warriors go to war with is judgment of ourselves and other people, self-pity or pity for other people. This way has no pity. Fear created by my mind and my self-importance, where I think I know what's best. So these things are all coming up again. And again, life is the lesson, right? Here it is. The great mystery is putting it in my face every day. So, Great Spirit's helping out since I decided to look at this. I had a visit from a lady I've been seeing for a while. She think I was 87, and she told me she's a lifelong Democrat. And she sat down and said, I never hated anybody as much as I hate Donald Trump. She said, he speaks hate. You go to watch that Charlie Kirk thing? And I said, no, I passed. She said, well, he spoke hate, that he hates people, and he seemed proud of it. And I hate him. And she looked at me and said, what do you think? I said, I think you've been seduced by the dark side. I think now the dark side's got you. You're here hating what you hate. How's it going? She said, I'm not sleeping. I'm pissed off all the time. I yell at people and it's not their fault. I said, yeah, that's how it works. She said, what do you mean seduced? I haven't been seduced in 50 years. I said, well, this is another dimension we're talking about here. You may have some good memories, but that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about here is the dark side is seductive. How easy it is for my mind to go into self-importance, to judgment, blame, criticism, and name-calling. So that's what's in my face since July 4th. And it's in my face every day. And the other part of it is, this is not a poor me trip. I'm looking for this stuff. I want to see this before I cross over. I don't want to carry this into my moment of death. So the great mystery is obliging me, sending people and events. So this elderly lady and I were talking a little bit, and she said, tell me what to do. And I said, well, you know what to do. I don't ever tell anybody what to do unless it's breathe, you know. I do that a lot. I tell them and I tell me, breathe, breathe. So she said, I guess what I could do is look at how easy I hate. I said, yeah, that'd be a really good start. That'd be a great place to look at it. She said, well, it turns out I hate a lot of people. Welcome to a very large club. Big club, and the admission's easy. All you have to do is slide right into the dark side. And the dark side is very seductive. You probably know how easy it is to move into judgment and believe that I'm right, and to either gather evidence to prove that I'm right. Maybe you don't know. I know for me, it's really easy. So that's what we call the seduction of the dark side. It is very, very seductive. It is so easy to slip into name-calling, judgment, blame, criticism, and self-importance. I know what's best. It turns out I don't. So in my distress, so to speak, I checked in with someone that had crossed over in 2012. To me, she's known as Tanke, or Ka, older sister, my sacred older sister, Germaine Sitting Crow. And sister, I speak your name in a good way today. So, check in with sister. I said, sister, I'm having a hard time. She said, do you trust me? I said, yes, of course. She said, I'm not as educated as you. I never went past 4th grade. I lived on a reservation most of my life. I never watched the news. I watched Gunsmoke. And I watched Gunsmoke because of Lorne Greene, and he was the only one that liked Indians in any cowboy show. So I watch him every afternoon at 3 o'clock. I said, right on, okay, it's better than the news. She said, yeah. She said, so you trust me? I said, absolutely, unconditionally. She said, you don't seem to be trusting spirit. Oops. Short conversation. Yeah, she nailed it like she always does. What's missing? My agreement with spirit that spirit's in charge. Not that I approve of what's in charge, and spirit doesn't care whether I approve or not. What happens to me when I disapprove? What happens to me when I close my heart? I don't feel connected. I don't feel at peace. I am uneasy. And when I breathe into my lack of peace, my uneasiness, breathing into my heart, I can feel it. And what I feel is I'm not connected. I'm not grounded. I'm in my mind. And when I breathe into my body, I get back into my mind, I begin to feel connected. And then I begin to feel my distress. And I don't like feeling my distress. I like to have this idea that I kind of got my act together here. I do not. The world has put in front of me, with that elderly lady, with the young man down there on the river, with watching the news, that my relationship with spirit seems to be conditional. That sometimes when I see some of the things going on, and people speaking hate and justifying hate, I'm like, Spirit, what are you up to? This does not look good to me. And then I remember this old man that came in from Arizona, a rancher, a goat rancher, would be mad at the great mystery of God every August because it didn't rain in August. And I said to him, Fred, how long have you lived out there? Well, 78 years. When has it rained in August? He said, never. I said, and you're still wanting Great Spirit to change that? He said, yes. I said, tell me, how is this going? He said, I'm the same way with my ex-wife and I'm the same way with my children. I said, yeah, it's not just a mystery. It's reflected in my relationship with people also. So, relatives, this is humbling, not being here with you and saying this, but the recognition that my connection with spirit seems to be conditional, depending on my self-importance at the moment. And I did ask to see my self-importance. I did ask. I said, show me. So here we are. And it's real easy for me to see now. And the next step is to breathe into my discomfort and to realize the world is not creating my discomfort. Warriors, people that decide to be relentless and impeccable, particularly with their language, don't say things like, it's unsettling. We say things like, I'm unsettled. You got the difference? It's unsettling, so it should change. I'm unsettled. So I think it was Gandhi that said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Okay, there's a lot more to that than I thought. I thought I understood that. Well, at one level, I did understand it. I could repeat it to people. I could see it's a good thing. Being the change is a whole different trip. It's like thinking about yoga or doing the yoga. Those are two different worlds. One is experiential, one is didactic. One is philosophical, and one is experiential, doing it. So this medicine way is much more into the experience. There's enough philosophy. And as older sister Germaine used to say, if it's not practical and I can't use it in my everyday life, then it's not really spiritual. It's just talk. So I'm kind of with her on that. So this is a challenge for me right now. I have the strong suspicion that other people on a spiritual path are experiencing the same challenge. But then again, it's just us. You know, like we are one We're all two-leggeds, at least we start off as two-leggeds, and we all bleed red, and we all have forward-facing eyes, and we all have canine teeth. We're predators. The deer, the rabbits, the turkeys, their eyes along the side of their head, their lunch. So that's the way the Great Mystery set it up. Along with that, we understand that wounded fish attract sharks. And when I get into poor me, this is wrong, my self-pity, I will attract a certain kind of energy that confirms that. You reap what you sow, that kind of stuff. So energetically, that's what's cooking with that. So fortunately, Spirit was taking care of me and sent me a couple things, one through, did you say, my email, and one through, I don't know, came from somewhere, that, how do I get out of this? So, one of the suggestions was to remember, I am consciousness becoming aware of myself. And when I say that, I am consciousness becoming aware of itself, that makes a shift right now. And that's experiential and mental and emotional, physical. So that one's tough for me, to align myself with the awareness that I am consciousness becoming aware of itself. So a doorway to that somebody else sent me, thank goodness, was I'm aware that I'm upset when I look at the news. I'm aware that my mind is critical and judgmental when I look at some people. I'm aware that my criticism makes me sick. I'm aware. My awareness is not critical. My awareness is not upset. My awareness is something else altogether different. And I believe my awareness and my consciousness are really sort of the same thing. So I'm working on aligning myself with my awareness that's not upset. My consciousness, that I'm slowly becoming aware that I am consciousness, becoming aware of itself. And my doorway right now is awareness. Awareness and responsibility. It is my responsibility. Do I align myself with awareness, or do I align myself with the judge that was given to me when I was a little boy, my programming? Don Miguel Ruiz called it domestication. Eckhart Tolle has another word for it. Older sister told me that she thought the voice in the mind was a demon. She used to live with me sometimes part of the year. And I said, well, we really can't say that in South Texas. You know, people kind of freak out. And she said, if it's invisible and it tortures two-leggeds, it doesn't torture the four-leggeds or the one that swims or the one that flies, then it's a demon. So, okay, it's just not a word I would use very much. And she said, well, pay attention. Okay, yes, ma'am. So that's another way to look at this energy that's not me. The voice in my mind is not me. I inherited it. It is part of my spiritual path, apparently, to be aware of it, to be responsible for whether or not I agree with it, I listen to it, and perhaps if I speak it. So what I've been catching, paying attention to since July 4th, and meeting with those young men, was it is easy to be seduced by the dark side. It is easy to move into judgment, blame, criticism, self-righteous, self-importance, and self-pity. It is easy. So the Lakota people say, the red road is north. It's narrow, it's not crowded. One person at a time. The black road is west, very wide, and it's downhill. And I know a little bit about the black road. I left a sign there last time I was there. Hal, wake up, this is not where you want to go. Take a hard right. Yeah. Back up the hill, boy. So I'm sharing you with my current challenge. I thank the Great Mystery for the challenge. I thank you all for sitting here listening to this. Otherwise, I'd be walking around on my back porch telling the sun. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you all for the opportunity. Okay.
Feeling all the lessons that life brings us, and how we sit with those, how we live with those lessons. Remembering that we can trust in Spirit because Spirit is in charge and is there for us each and every moment, guiding us. And we take a deep breath in. And as we release, we let go of all those judgments, the self-pity, the fear, so easily brought forth by our current culture and the many opportunities to go to that place, to go to the dark side. But here and now, we breathe in again. We breathe in this consciousness that I am, that you are, that we are. As we become aware of its self. As we become aligned with that awareness, as we take responsibility knowing that those voices, those judgments in our minds, that they are not us. And we remember the words of the song Carol shared, that let there be love shared among us. Let love sweep the nations. Let there be truth shared among us. Let there be light shared among us. Let there be joy shared among us. And let there be peace shared within us and among us. With each and every breath we take, as we remember that we are one. And for our willingness to do this, to be together, to be reminded of the lessons, as we trust in Spirit to guide us, may others also remember. And for this opportunity, we say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so it is.